Hello everyone, well it's that time again where a new set is released, so I have to open a box. Now for the second time now, I have remembered to keep some sort of opening utensil next to me, so we're going to be able to get into this real quick. Now, many of you have asked me in the past, how can I start a YouTube channel for Magic and whatnot? And here's the secret. Here is the secret. What I just did is all that you have to be able to do. Alright, now let's open some packs. Of course, I used to do this all like without any sound or commentary, and then, whoa! Look at that! It flips from right side up to upside down. Okay. Weird. Okay, so we get a land for our rare. Love that. I love getting the non-basic standard playable lands for rares because you just know that you got your value. Anyway, as I was saying, so I used to do this all like with no sound and just like sped up with some music and whatnot. And then I asked whoa, it's happening again. I asked everybody if they wanted that. Bygone Bishop is actually pretty sweet, just a value engine. I asked everyone if they preferred that or if they wanted me to talk during the opening, and everyone said, why don't you talk about the set and all that kind of jazz. I guess it's more interesting, so that's what we've been doing for a while. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that this is going to be every pack from now on. So here's our Fireball card, which is, it's just okay. It's just okay. It kills indestructible things for some reason. That's a really weird piece of text to add to your Fireball. I'm not sure exactly why it's there. Yeah, this is strange. This, I actually think, is going to see a lot of standard play. I know it looks like you're giving them a card, but I think it's actually really good. And we get a Briarbridge Patrol as our foil. Oh, I forgot to take that rare and pop it in our pile of rares. Okay. I don't know if I've gotten better at opening packs because YouTube or what. Yeah, this is weird. Like, all of them are upside down. Sin Prodder. So this guy, a lot of people think is going to be amazing. I'm actually not so sure that it's going to be amazing. Okay, Inner Struggle as our rare. Some people are like, oh, it's the next Dark Confidant type thing. But I am actually not 100% on board with that. I want to see how it goes. Okay, so Forgotten Creation, which is, by the way, amazing. And if you want to build a standard mill deck, you can put this with Sphinx's Tutelage, and it's just hilarious, assuming that this lives. And a foil land, which I think everyone appreciates a nice foil land. Okay, let's see our next pack. Yeah, this seems really... And it seems like it's after the flip card, you get cards that are flipped upside down. Oh my gosh, this guy's going to lead to some serious brews with all this ridiculous text. But you folk tell me, because now you're opening packs, are you getting flipped upside down cards after your flip cards? Or is that just me? Do I have a special box? And if I do have a special box, I hope that it means that I get like extra mythics or something sweet like that. I'd be a fan. Okay, sweet. We got one of these rare lands again, which I'm always a huge fan of. You know those just aren't going to stay in your trade binder. People need them. People want them. They always have that value. I'm not sure if they're going to make it into Modern or not. Okay, so this is the Madness Vampire, which is a 2-1 for 1 in red, which is actually just something that sees constructed play. I remember playing mono red in the like Cons era with like Monastery Swiftspear and all the red heroic creatures and whatnot. man, what were they called? I don't even remember anymore. Okay, so we're just gonna have perfect land bases for all our modern decks. Won't even have to buy any of it. So I'm a fan of this box so far, which really shows how much of a spiky player I am when I'm so interested in the lands, not even like the sweet creatures or anything. Just give me those lands. These lands are great. Oh well. Okay, and opening more packs. By the way, this opening packs thing feels just so weird to me. Since I'm a YouTuber, you know, I just gotta do it. Oh man, this one is just so sweet. I'm sure that this is gonna see standard play. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe when the next set comes out, there'll be enough zombies finally to do like a full zombie deck, and then it's just gonna be absurd. But I know I'm not the only one that thinks that that card has some serious potential, yeah? Alright, let's get to this rare. Yeah, this is weird, this flipped card, thanks. Nephalia Moondrakes, almost certainly not going to make it in standard, but it seems really fun in limited. Especially just milling it, and then you just get the sweet effect in your graveyard for free. Okay. Yeah, this seems to be after the flip card, then the other cards are flipped upside down 100% of the time. Scourge Wolf, this also might see some mono red play if mono red gets there. Maybe in like a set or two, there'll be enough cards for mono red to reach that critical mass. Or it might already be there. I have not bothered brewing any mono red with the new set. Tireless Tracker, yeah. Pretty sweet limited card. And onwards we go. The Gitrog Monster. This card is so sweet. It cycles through your deck so quickly. It's amazing. This thing should have blue in its casting cost. It's basically like a card drawing like Planeswalker almost. Such an interesting card. I know a lot of people are interested in this for EDH. Just make some sweet skin. Sorry, I just saw the skin invasion and I thought about it. Make some sweet brew with that. And speaking of sweet brews, Trisky Decaphobia, yeah. I want to see that one in standard too. That would be a real laugh. All right. Rattle Chains. This is another one that maybe could see standard play, but I think we need some spirits in the next set. But this is just such a sweet value creature. Just lets you play everything at instant speed. It lets you, kill, well, not kill, but basically counter a kill spell. And I don't know, it's pretty awesome. So hopefully we see some more spirits in the next set. I don't see how we couldn't, unless the next set is, as some people are thinking, an Emrakul Eldrazi thing. And if it's just all Eldrazi, well, that would be kind of awful, wouldn't it? I think most people are pretty tired of just Eldrazi. Descend Upon the Sinful, which is... I don't know if a 6-mana Wrath is going to make it or not. But it's certainly pretty sweet. And it also triggers this interesting thing about this set, which is the concept of relative morality. Now, of course, you don't need a religion in particular to have a moral code. So, for example, a lot of Western ideals originate heavily from, liberal philosophies like John Locke. And so if you think about it, things that go against those philosophies are immoral. So, for example, censorship goes against the whole freedom of speech, so it's considered immoral, or murder goes against the freedom to live. Look at that. A foil of these lands. So, clearly our box is getting like tons of value in the rares, which is actually a nice change of pace. So an example of relative morality in this set is the card Wolf of Devil's Breach. And it kind of says in the flavor text, like, how evil is being a werewolf in relation to that really evil thing, Wolf of Devil's Breach. And in my mind, they're both still evil, right? I mean, it seems clear to me that in the story going forward, that they're going to be teaming up with werewolves in some way, right? And kind of the idea behind that is the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? And that seems to me like a pretty clearly failed idea. I mean, we see in past American overseas interventions, like funding rebel groups to topple regimes, those rebel groups are philosophically opposed to Western ideals, and then they led to the rise of terrorist groups, which, when you look back on it, seems kind of 2020, But, like I was saying, relative morality is also seen like the corruption of the angels in the set. To be clear, Avacyn is not really an angel. She's the creation of Sorin, and so she's just like, she's kind of, you could almost think about it as like a robot that Sorin made that looks like an angel that does what he wants, right? But the other angels in the set, if you look at the stories about the past, like, they've been convinced just through the words and power of Avacyn to be corrupted, which to me seems kind of ridiculous because they have been kind of set as beings of pure goodness. They're described as existing since the first light over Innistrad or whatever. So relative morality seems to be kind of a theme in this set, which I'm actually not that huge of a fan of, to be honest. I do think that there is some objectively correct and incorrect philosophies and moralities. And obviously we could talk philosophy all day, but this is a Magic the Gathering channel, right? So we'll call that good for now. By the way, I think this might see maybe some modern play. I don't know. It's a pretty sweet card. And I know that discussions of politics and philosophy and the like are generally considered bad for YouTube because people might get angry with you and disagree, and you might lose or not gain subscribers. But I'm not here to gain subscribers or money, so I don't make an effort to be as blandly agreeable as possible, right? That just doesn't interest me as a concept. This is awful, by the way. So if you guys would like to comment or continue the discussion of relative morality and philosophy in the comments, feel free. Just remember that when disagreeing with someone, to discuss the idea that you disagree with and not the person that they are. That's been a theme of philosophy and political discussions that I'm not a fan of. You got to attack the ideas, not the people, because people are, here and there and everywhere, but the concepts are really the enduring thing. So that's probably what we should be talking about. Plus, it's just not nice, right? All right. Well, let's see what we get here for these last few. Hermit of the Natternals. And more Nephalia Moondrakes. By the way, this is like one of my first videos since pre-release. Have your pre-releases been going well? Now this one, I think, is going to go like way down in value because I think there's probably not enough good zombies in this set to do this in standard yet. But man, if the next set prints a lot of zombies, I can imagine Diagraph Colossus just skyrocketing in value. It's a really good card. You know, you look at just like, oh man, I get to make 2/2s forever. I'm not going to call it a Gideon for 3 mana, because that would just be that would be extreme. But you can see how it's actually quite good. Angel of Deliverance, I don't think is going to see any play anywhere, but it will increase the amount of angels in my angel collection, which is an important thing. Tamio's Journal, which Jay seems to be very interested in. I hope that Tamio shows up, says hi, gets her second Planeswalker card, because she's a pretty sweet character, even though she's from one of the most disliked sets of all time, which is the whole Kamigawa block. Not well received, shall we say. Although I do feel like if we ever returned to Kamigawa, perhaps they could do like a better job. Like, they seem better at that sort of top-down design now than they were at the time. Okay. Would you guys be interested in a return to Kamigawa? I know a lot of people, just because of how bad it was in the past, are just, no, completely off it, right? Okay. Let's see what we get here. And I think we've got enough mythics that I don't think that we're going to get another mythic. So probably no Planeswalkers here. We're down to our last 2 packs. And we got our value in sort of our rare lands. And that's mostly it. Fevered Visions, which is probably awful. Maybe it'll see some play. I'm sure that there is an EDH group hug deck that just wants it. Also, what's his name? I am forgetting the name. Hey, and we finish off with an angel. So that's not a bad ending. Alright, now I know you guys like to see everything all ordered, what we got, so let me skip to that. Okay, so here's what we opened. We got the stuff that has some obvious value up here, and then the ones that are like pretty low value or questionable down here. And if we're really honest with ourselves, we'll just say, you know, this opening was not that amazing, which is why I always advocate when you open a box like this to do like some pack wars with it, to do some sealed or a draft event with it, get all your friends together and do that, because then you know that you're getting your value out of it, because you get to have a lot of fun with the cards, even if they're not necessarily super sweet value opens. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the opening video. If you did, you can always hit that like or subscribe button as you do, and I will see you folk next video.